Hello, everyone. Coming up here on the Pro Wrestling Show. What a pro wrestling show we have from the SmackDown Ring Report. Highlights from last night's SmackDown as Edge, Daniel Bryan, and champion Roman Reigns, the Universal Champion, they are into an epic triple threat clash at WrestleMania. Man, you won't believe what the highlights was. You see right here, Daniel Bryan applying the label lock on Roman Reigns and trying to get his revenge on Edge on what they did to him. And Daniel Bryan was also in that vicious street fight with Jey Uso. We'll talk about that. Plus, also Bianca Belair and Sasha Banks, they meet for the SmackDown Women's title at WrestleMania 1 week from tonight. But we'll talk about that as well, leading towards that matchup as well, and many other WrestleMania moments. And you won't believe this. What in the world? Chris Jericho appearing on Stone Cold Steve Austin's Broken Skull session, and he's still contracted to AEW. What's going on with that? Man, is things about the what Tony Khan said about the forbidden door about to open for AEW stars to come to WWE and make appearances. All this can be more. All this and more when the Pro Wrestling Show presents the predicted outcome, not my predicted outcome, but for the SmackDown Ring Report. And it starts right now. Hello, everyone. Welcome to this edition of the Pro Wrestling Show for presents the SmackDown Ring Report. I'm your host, as always, Kendra Diggs here. Glad you can join us here on the Pro Wrestling Show. Don't forget to subscribe. Like I said, don't forget to join in the conversation with hashtag Pro Wrestling Show here on Connect. And don't forget to subscribe. Subscribe is caring. Tell a friend, call a friend, hit that subscribe button so you won't miss a thing. All right, we got a lot to talk about. What highlights from the Brew brand and little hot topics, including Chris Jericho appearing on Steve Austin's Broken Skull session. Who would have thought that would have happened? And we'll get to that and a lot more. It's Triple H and AJ Styles. We thought they was gonna have a match at WrestleMania because AJ pestering Triple H, but Triple H saying he has no time. I can kind of believe him because he's really a busy man these days. All right, let's get to the SmackDown Ring Report. On the SmackDown Ring Report, like I said, next next Sunday is going to be Edge, the Royal Rumble winner, taking on Universal Champion Roman Reigns, and Daniel Bryan added himself, got himself weaseled himself into the Daniel Bryan effect, I like to call it, into a triple threat match. It was inventable that was going to happen, but it's happening. Well, Edge came out there and he talked about how Daniel Bryan wormed his way into the triple threat, into making this match a triple threat match. It was supposed to be Edge and Roman Reigns. Now Daniel Bryan as well added into the match. Um, hey, when you look at it, Daniel Bryan has that Daniel Bryan effect. Like I said, he added himself, he got himself into a triple threat match, which that makes a lot of sense to a lot of people. But hey, you know how that go and that flow. But Ed said that he would be a commentator later on the show to watch closely and Daniel Bryan versus Jey Uso in the street fight. So Ed want to study his opponent as we know well. Also, Rey Mysterio, his son Dominic, the Street Profits, teamed up all on team up in that huge eight man tag team match against SmackDown Tag Team Champions, the Dirty Dog Bobby Roode and Dolph Ziggler, and Otis and Chad Gable. Otis and Chad Gable gave this speech, um, highlighting themselves and highlighting what they're going to do with their abilities. But in the matchup, you see right here, Bobby Roode trying to choke out Ray. Ray applied Dominic Dawkins applied a stunner. Now you know next week on SmackDown there's going to be a special WrestleMania SmackDown as these 8 men will compete for the SmackDown Tag Team Championship. So they're trying to maximize their minutes going forward because WrestleMania gonna be a huge event, and that WrestleMania card ain't gonna be including them, but they will be a part of a special SmackDown edition of WrestleMania, competing for the SmackDown Tag Team Championship. And Otis and Gable they won, but you can tell Otis and Gable could be the heavy favorites because Otis had went up top and splashed what's his name? Montez Ford, let him out of breath for a little bit. So Otis and Gable could be a threat to all the other 6 jump men. To look for that. Also, Corey Graves hit us face to face with Seth Rollins and Cesaro. It's like every week Seth Rollins wearing these weird, outrageous clothes. Ever since he came back to the roster, he's been wearing weird clothes. I don't I don't get it, but that's his business. But it is what it is. But him and Cesaro talked about their upcoming WrestleMania match, and Cesaro saying he's gonna make his WrestleMania moment. Talking about um, Seth Rollins talking about the swing. He don't like me the swing being disrespected. Cesaro said he's gonna take full advantage of swinging Seth Rollins if he can at WrestleMania. And Seth Rollins didn't like that one bit. So Seth Rollins told said this and that. So we're gonna see at WrestleMania. You know it's gonna be a swing, and you know they're gonna want fan participation. You know, get the reaction from people. So you know how they go. Also, Shayna Baszler went against Natalya 1-on-1 in a match, which that was crazy. Shayna Baszler and Natalya go 1-on-1. And you see right here, girl brawl and stuff. It'll tell you. Yeah, it was a girl brawl indeed. Nia Jax got involved, pushing Natalya, and then Nia Jax hit the leg drop on Tamina. Then, like I said, a girl brawl is women from Monday Night Raw invaded SmackDown to take out the women's tag team champion. And I was like, what's going on? It was like Naomi and Lana doing double face busters on Mandy and Dana. Then they did Natalia and Tamina did a heart attack on Lana. So it's fan fest, girl fight. So there they go. So we'll see on that. Will it be a multiple women's tag team title match between these women from Raw and SmackDown? You know it's gonna be, but will it be an episode of SmackDown? We have to wait and see, or will it be on Raw, like a Raw WrestleMania? You know where they go. 1 week from WrestleMania. Also, Sami Zayn had his award ceremony coming up about showing the conspiracies when he believed in WWE. Sammy did this elaborate scheme right here to get himself ready. Sammy doing dances. I was like, what in the world is he doing? He was dancing like he was doing certain dances. I was like, okay, he weird. So Sami Zayn welcomed Logan Paul from YouTube. Logan Paul kind of came out there and did his thing and tried to get his check. And an interesting fact, Logan Paul said WWE sent their private plane to pick him up, and they did so. And then you see right here, Kevin Owens come around, sneaks around, and gives Sami Zayn the stunner. So they'll have their upcoming match at WrestleMania as well. So Kevin Owens gave Sami a warning that look forward at WrestleMania. You know they're gonna do that power shift at WrestleMania between KO and Sami Zayn. KO wants to jump out that power shift. You better jump before Shane McMahon do on Braun, one of the two. And then he told Logan Paul to watch it. So Logan Paul kind of watched it and didn't know what to do. Then we have the Carmella goes against the Women's Royal Rumble and #1 contender for the SmackDown Women's title, Bianca Belair. Bianca Belair trying to maximize her moment and her minutes to get herself ready and prepared for WrestleMania. Bianca went against Carmella, who's been a threat to Sasha Banks for the past couple of months. Now, Bianca Belair has her sights set on Carmella. Carmella, who hasn't been on TV in a while since she lost to Simone, her assistant, Reginald, who went to the Women's Tag Team Champions, Nia Jax and Shayna. Well, you see right here, she was tying her up. Then Bianca Belair hit a drop kick before earlier. She was tying her up and tying her hair into a bow into the ring ropes. Carmella did a super kick right there, trying to take advantage of Bianca, but Bianca Belair took advantage with the well all and used that move and she got the win over Carmella. The boss is ready. But speaking of the boss, Sasha Banks, the SmackDown Women's Champion, she came out of nowhere and tried to do the backstab like she did last week. Bianca was too smart this time and blocked it and told Sasha, be ready. As her and Sasha will meet next week, 1 week from tonight, but they will meet for the SmackDown Women's title at WrestleMania. It's going to be a really phenomenal match. Some of the people are lobbying for Sasha and Bianca to main event that WrestleMania. When you look at it, you want them to main event, but it's going to be obvious that it's going to be the world titles from each show. So Drew and Lashley might main event next week, and then Roman, Daniel Bryan, and and, and Edge, they'll main event Sunday night. So this WrestleMania card is going to be huge and big. You see right here, the ads next week. You see who's in the ad: Bianca Belair, Lashley, WWE Champion, Roman Reigns, Universal Champion, Drew McIntyre, the challenger for number one contender for the WWE title against Lashley, Sasha Banks, the SmackDown Women's Champion, who will face Bianca Belair, and Bad Bunny, who will have his match against The Miz. So like next week we'll have two predicted outcome specials. We'll have one for night one for WrestleMania and one for night two. So they'll be for Saturday and Sunday. So that'll make it more easier. Also, Apollo Crews laid claim that he wants Big E and he'll get his match against Big E at WrestleMania for the Intercontinental title, but he wants a Nigerian street fight or something that he said. Drum match or something. He said something like that. I don't know what that, and he was talking that same accent. It's like Bruce Pritchard and the rest of them trying to get him to like do that accent again, make great TV. Oh, but it's only if he said if Big E accepts. Big E gonna accept. It's WrestleMania season. So why would you even ask that if you knew he was going to accept the match? Just say let's have it a Nigerian street whatever drum match, whatever you want to call it. So that's going to happen sooner rather than later. So I don't know why he even asked that idiotic question, but it's going to happen. So you don't look forward to that. So hey, there you go. Also, the main event was Daniel Bryan went against Jey Uso in a brutal street fight match. Roman Reigns was out there intently to watch. Edge was on commentary to watch. Daniel Bryan did the unthinkable, and he made Jey tap out. Jey tapped out the way he didn't want to tap out. And Daniel Bryan turned his attention to his challengers. Edge, he went out the Edge and announced the commentary table. He dropped Edge down on the floor and hit him with the ring pole, knocked him out senseless. Then he turned his attention to Universal Champion Roman Reigns and put the label lock on Roman Reigns. As you see right here, Daniel Bryan trying to choke the living day out of Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns said that he won tap out. He said he's not going to tap out because he can't do it. He tried, he did, and Fastlane, but now Roman's didn't want to tap out. So it's going to be a telling match at WrestleMania between these three men. It's going to be real telling because this is going to be the main event. You can tell, you can feel it, you can sense it. We have just wait and see at WrestleMania. All right, that ends the SmackDown report. Let's move on to hot topics. On hot topics this week, man, what hot topics we have to use to talk about? Like here, who would have ever thought Chris Jericho would return to WWE or Peacock or whatever to be a guest on Stone Cold Steve Austin podcast? Many of the internet is still shook about Chris Jericho coming back while he's contracted to AEW. Will he talk about his AEW run on WWE TV? I don't think so, but he'll talk about his career in WWE and what he's been doing. But we all know what he's been doing, but would WWE bring that up? Will he bring it up? You never know, because They brought Hulk Hogan. You know, Hulk Hogan is kind of like, you got to say this. You got, Hulk Hogan will come on there. You got to ask the certain questions that Hulk Hogan want to talk about. Do you think Jericho or WWE? Well, Stone Cold gave a little insight online saying that he asked Mr. McMahon that he wanted Jericho on the show, and Mr. McMahon said okay, with the animosity between the two shows. So you feel Mr. McMahon didn't feel threatened about that? He probably didn't. He probably felt like, hell, it gets someone, it gets people to talking, and it did. It's like Chris Jericho's a contracted AEW wrestler appearing on WWE TV. We never seen it before. Chris Jericho has been on WWE, and now Jericho is back in a way that many people didn't see coming. So now there you go, Chris. But we had to see. So Chris Jericho's episode with Stone Cold will air after WrestleMania. So everyone be watching, including yourself. So hey, we'll see. Also, we talked about William Shatner entering the WWE Hall of Fame. Captain Kirk, William Shatner, entering his name in the Hall of Fame. So William Shatner into the Hall of Fame. Who's gonna duck him? I think Jared Lawler might duck him. Who knows? Who might else duck him? Who knows? Also, AJ Styles says he's been lobbying to have a match against Triple H at WrestleMania. Well, Triple H gives insight during a recent NXT conference call that he said that AJ's been pestering him for months and said he don't have the time of the day because he's focused on NXT, and NXT's new night moving on Tuesdays. So hey, Triple H got a point, but who would you like to see AJ Styles go against Triple H before Triple H say his last hurrah and stuff? We had to wait and see on that. Oh, you know how they go. All right, everyone. Thank you all for watching this edition of the Pro Wrestling Show. It's been a heck of a pro wrestling show. So hey, for me being Kendrick Dixon, thank you all. We'll see you next week. We have the 2-night WrestleMania predict outcome for night 1 and night 2. I'll be your host. See you later.